Well, hello and good evening or good morning, wherever in the world you are right now. Greetings from the Vienna University of Economics and Business. My name is Anna Patterson, and I'm happy to be walking you through this info session on the Global Executive MBA. Today's expert with us is Alexander Damev. He's a senior learning and education consultant here at the WU Executive Academy.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all.
So the way we're going to walk through this info session today in just 45 minutes is first, we'll have a short presentation for you. We've mentioned that we're going to share information on the curriculum of this program, the experienced peer group setting, and returns on investment of such an executive MBA with you. And I invite you to ask your questions during this info session, because at the end of this, I'm going to be asking your questions to Alex in a one-on-one conversation, and the questions will be coming from you. So make use of it and it'll be great. All right, Alex, I'll hand it over to you to start our presentation.
Thank you very much, Anna. Indeed, we'll just jump right into it to make the best out of the time. I know we're all busy, so thanks again for taking the time to join us. Now, when selecting an executive MBA program, I would recommend to consider three factors or to ask yourself three questions. First of all, what is the quality like of the program I'm interested in? Then what is the content? So what kind of content do I expect to get during this MBA learning journey? And third, who will be my peers? So who are the other people and the other students I'm sharing this journey with? And we'll try, or I'll try to give you some more info on that. First of all, the good news here is that quality can be measured. Same goes for the reputation of the institution. We, as the Vienna University of Economics and Business, namely our academy, the Executive Academy, we proud ourselves to hold three accreditations, the triple accreditation, namely ACSB, EQUIS, and AMBA. These are outside bodies, institutions which accredit business schools all around the world. So with that, when you think about some 15,000 MBA programs worldwide on a global scale, this just funnels your selection down to less than 100 MBAs worldwide. So you are already in a very good company here. Next thing you can look for in terms of quality of the programs are the rankings. We just received recently the 2020 ranking from the Financial Times. Very happy about the result, number 32 worldwide. This is a top 100 list you're looking at on a global scale. And if you look at the subcategories, there we have achieved some notable results, which of course have an impact in your executive MBA journey, namely number 7 worldwide in terms of working experience of the student. And again, here, this adds to the class profile because it tells you that you will share the executive MBA journey together with experienced students, where you can learn from each other. Those people share their experience and their knowledge throughout the MBA. So this is, in addition to the faculty, of course, this is where you learn a lot from other students. And then number 12 on international course experience. So the program is indeed a global executive MBA program. There are some other rankings you can also look at, like the Economist MBA, Executive MBA ranking, and the QS Global Executive MBA ranking. And I just want to draw your attention to the subcategories again. If you look at, we proud ourselves to achieve some notable results here. What kind of content can you expect? Well, you will go through a solid general management curriculum, always with a global perspective. So we look at the topics very much from a strategic, leadership, and global perspectives. 14 modules. I'll show you the schedule in a second. We focus, as I said, on global business. There's a slight emphasis on finance topics, and there is a strong entrepreneurial aspect to the program as well. All our students are invited to bring their own challenges into the program and then to have that up for discussions. Then there is a global team project. So this is what we ask our students to work on as a final project. So as the master thesis of this MBA program, this is where we link our MBA students with students from other executives and MBA programs from United States and from China, and they work on a global team project. This is usually a business plan for a new venture or market entry strategy, market entry plan. So this is a project they work on. And actually, a lot of these projects have turned out into or resulted into real businesses after the MBA program. So here again, a strong entrepreneurial emphasis to the program. And of course, you want to make an impact within your company or within the department you're working in. So just as an example from a story we heard from a previous student a couple of years ago, he told us that while exchanging with such a diverse and colorful group, actually, with students from other cultures, other continents, other companies as well, and other industries, he learned how to talk to his stakeholders, to different stakeholders, to his clients from different industries. So there is a strong communication impact you receive from the MBA program. You sharpen your critical thinking. There's a lot of discussion going on during the program, case study work, and this sharpens your approach to actual problems, real business problems. Just an excerpt from our faculty. We are in a good position from WU to be internationally connected to other universities. So this is where we draw our faculty for the program. Just a couple of examples here. On this slide, just showing you the international aspect in terms of the faculty. And obviously, we have faculty coming in from the Karlsruhe School of Management. I should mention that this is our partner university for the Global Executive MBA program. Actually, we provide our students, or students receive at the end, 2 MBA degrees, one from WU and one from the University of Minnesota. How is the structure of the program? That's an important topic because the program is part-time. So our students do this MBA next to their job. Usually they are quite busy in their jobs already. So they do that on top. Here it's important that it's doable, but it is, of course, a demanding and challenging program. But the focus here should be that you can manage to do it next to your busy job. So how does it work? We have, as we mentioned, 14 modules through a period of 16 months. Here in the middle, you can see the modules of 4 days. Prior to these modules, you always have a so-called pre-module assignment. This is where we prepare students for the upcoming class. There will be readings, case studies to work on, assignments to work on either individually or in group settings. Then you come into the classroom, you spend a couple of days in class, and then you have the post-module assignment. So this is where you actually apply what you have learned in your real business context. We have calculated an average workload of 15 to 20 hours per week to study and to prepare yourself. We've asked actually our students in the past, so that's not a random number we have come up with. That's actually an average from the answers we got from our students in the past. And this is an example schedule for the upcoming class. That's the latest version we have here, also published on our website. This is a schedule you can expect to be pretty much fixed. And you can, when applying, you can start working and planning around this schedule with your employer, for instance. So it's 16 months. It's quite compact, quite intense, of course, as well. About 45 days of your job. So these are the dates you will have to miss from working. Again, here, just as an advice, involve your employer. It's important to have a good understanding with them for your upcoming MBA journey. Usually classes take place from Thursday to Sunday. There are a couple of exceptions, but that's actually the schedule you can pretty much rely on. You see here the international residencies in dark blue. I'll say a couple of words about that in just a couple of seconds. Next to doing an MBA program, students usually want to develop on many other levels, not only to gain some knowledge and to gain a network, but once they start doing the MBA program, they kind of open their horizon and they want to improve, they want to learn. And this is actually where we have created a platform for development. And one of these developments is career development. We call that platform the Career Accelerator Program. I will not describe all the services and events we offer. Some of them are pretty much self-explaining. Just a couple of examples. In terms of personality, we do a lot of personality actually testing and assessment at the beginning of the program. This is for students to get a picture where they stand, where they should improve, where are the gaps. And around this assessment, we offer our students different touch points for development. This can be negotiation workshops, salary workshops, learning how to improve your CV. We connect our students with executive search partners if they wish so, of course. And next to that, there is a range of events taking place. Those are notably networking events, but also guest speaker events with industry speakers coming in and sharing their personal insights with the students. So just in a nutshell, what we provide our students, or what we want to provide our students, is a platform for development. And that consists of the program itself, the network, and many, many other possibilities to improve and to work on your personal career plans you have for the future. Well, obviously, that's a question I get a lot when talking to prospect students. How is teaching organized in times of the pandemic? Do we have classes on campus? Is everything online? The bottom line here is, of course, we as a state university, and at every other university, I assume in Austria at least, we have to follow the guidelines from our government. So depending on how the security level is at the respective moment, we have adapted our infrastructure in order to be ready to cater and to have the program running in any cases. So currently, or actually recently, we had an MBA program starting in October, and that was started in a so-called hybrid teaching format, which means that for those students who were able to travel to Vienna or to be in Vienna for the classes, there we had classes here on campus, of course, taking into account some security measures. And for everyone who could not join, the classes were broadcast live online, so everyone could attend the classes, whether here on campus or at home. So you can see here a picture down left. Actually, during that class, we closed the curtains to have more contrast on the screens. But that's one of our auditoriums. You can see here on the pictures. We have installed cameras, speakers, and we have as I said, a hybrid teaching format. So that everyone can participate in the classes. Actually, that also works for the group and breakout sessions. So no matter whether you're on campus or off campus, we can assure you that you can start the program and you can also follow the program, no matter whether you're here or at home. International touchpoints. It is a global executive MBA, so we want to take our students to other markets and other countries, other cultures, and also we want them to have their global experience during the MBA program. These are the destinations we have integrated into the program. So there is a field trip or an international residency in South America. There is one in Asia. And then there is the last one in the USA, namely in Minneapolis and New York. In Minneapolis, you have the first graduation. And then in Vienna, you have the second one. So in USA, then in Minneapolis, we visit the Carson School of Management, our partner universities. The question here, I'm sure you will ask yourself, or you will want to ask us, how will that work out? Of course, as I said, we have to constantly assess the situation, the travel situations. But just to assure you, we are quite prepared. We have worked on different scenarios in terms of location and timings of the travelings. They will not be cancelled. So rest assured here, we are not cancelling any international component, but we have to be flexible. So just an example, we had to postpone one of the international residencies due to travel restrictions, and we will have that in a later stage. So based on the travel restrictions or travel regulations, we will make the decision in the appropriate time. Of course, here we are in constant exchange with the current classes. Each MBA class has a class president, and this is where we have our contact person for the class. I just got a very fresh information. This is off the record, but it looks like South America, for instance, is very much, let's say, very much thinking that they will be able to have guests from our university in October next year. That's the summer period. So that's already a timing we are integrating in our scenarios, but of course there are other scenarios as well for the international travel experience. So bottom line here is nothing is cancelled, and we have a couple of scenarios we are working with to deliver the international experience for the students. At the beginning, I showed you what to look for when choosing an executive MBA program. And one of this is the class profile. So it's the peer group. And who are the students you can expect to have as your peers during the MBA journey? This is an average of the past three classes we had, past 3 years. So as you can see, senior students, an average age of 38 years, some 15 years of work experience, highly international. So more than 2/3 of the students are non-Austrians. Here, it's both people coming in or commuting to the modules, but also we attract also students from the expat community here in Austria. And they have some 9 years of leadership experience. Again, here, that's important because you want to learn from each other, and each student also is asked to contribute to the learning experience of his or her fellow students. Some important deadlines to keep in mind. The regular admission closes end of January next year. We have some scholarships currently. They're all partial scholarships and can cover up to 25% of the tuition fee. There, the deadline is mid-December, 15th of December this year. So if you are interested in our scholarship, check them out on the website or get in touch with us, and we'd be happy to tell you more about that. You can also see the tuition fee. That's 49,000 euro for the whole program. There we offer also a payment in installments, so you can spread the payments in a couple of installments. In terms of ROI, of course, that's a significant investment you do, not only in terms of time and energy and effort, but also financial wise. So obviously you want to have a return. These are some numbers we have taken from both the Financial Times ranking, but also from our alumni survey. And what you can see here, just as a bottom line, is that people start changing and developing very quickly, either already into the program or while they are in the program, but also up to 4 years after the graduation. So you can see that over 75% of the students have made a career move. So they have either changed the company or they have become independent, started their own ventures. Almost 50% of the students have been promoted. You can see that a vast majority has taken over higher positions than before the MBA program. Of course, also the increase in salary or compensation is an important topic. You can see all the exact numbers for the compensation in the recent Financial Times ranking. That's one of the questions which are asked during the ranking. So some 64% increase of compensation. That's actually a pretty solid number. I'd like to share two statements from some alumni. First one is Harald Trausch, referring to the applicability of the content, the real business content. So what he did actually is he took some learnings from his financial modules, and he told me that he applied some new models and tools in his own company. He runs own companies and ventures, and he told me that within a year he made significant savings in his operational costs, and that was thanks to the tools and the methods he learned during his financial modules. So what you can see here is that the knowledge gives you the possibility to be quickly applied to your context, your business context, and can have a real and very quick impact on what you do during or in your operations or in your business. So he really made use of the tools very quickly and had some actual savings in his own company. Another story is from Rita. She actually did the MBA, the executive MBA, to be considered for a specific job. She has a law background, and she wouldn't have been considered for that particular job. And that's why she wanted to do the MBA program, to get this visibility for her profile and within the labor market. So that also, this is also one of the returns you can have, getting a new job or getting the job you desire, you want to have, and of course giving yourself a distinction in the labor market. How does the application work? That's pretty straightforward. As for the process, there are 4 steps. First step is the online application. Step 2, once everything is submitted, there you have the interview. So before you have the interview, everything is checked, your submission is checked on a formal basis, and if everything is in order, we come to step 3, the admission interview, and usually about a week or 2 after the interview, you have the decision. So the whole application process can be done in about a month. Once, of course, you are ready to apply and you have prepared all your documents. A couple of words regarding the formal admission criteria. There we have at least an undergraduate degree, so equivalent to a bachelor's degree, a minimum of 5 years of work experience. Leadership experience is a prerequisite, and obviously proficiency in written and spoken English. We do not require any tests for that, neither GMAT tests or TOEFL tests. We have our own assessment during the application interview, and both qualitative and quantitative assessment, but also English assessment during the interview. Just in a nutshell, I mentioned two internationally recognized degrees, one from WU Vienna, one from the University of Minnesota. You will work and increase and foster, sharpen your leadership skills during the MBA. We have made sure that there is a compatibility work-life wise. So it is possible to do the MBA next to your job, although it's a demanding program, but it's doable. It's a highly international network you get into, and the knowledge, as I mentioned, is highly practical relevant. So that's something you receive and you can really quickly apply it to your business context at the moment. Thank you very much. That's all for now, and I'm happy to get your questions. Back to you, Anna.
Yes, well, thanks so much for the details on the program. We had a lot of questions coming in already. And I wanted to kick it off with one of the questions that often comes up is, many people now are in the stages of looking at several different MBA programs. And what makes the Global Executive MBA perhaps different and even better than some of the other business schools out there?
Well, a couple of those aspects have already been mentioned. That's something I talked about. When you look at the MBA, at an MBA, there are a couple of factors you want to consider. So what is important is the branding of the institution. That's something the degree is something you will carry on with you for the rest of your life. I assume it's usually something you do just once in your lifetime. Hence, it's really important to carefully select the MBA. So the branding of the university is important. Then accreditations, the rankings, the network. That's something I can maybe explain a little bit in more detail. Now, if you do an MBA program, you always get the network with that. So that's something you buy with the MBA. And you want to make sure that that's a network you can make use of and a network which is relevant for you. Just to give you an example. So you're a European, your business is mainly in Europe. If you want to do an MBA program, it might be a wise decision to do a program in Europe if you want to stay here and if you want to have your business here, rather than doing an MBA in Asia, for instance, or in the United States, because the network will be completely different. You want to make sure that's the right network you get. So look into that, talk to our program managers and ask them about the network they're entering in the MBA. The program is highly distinguished in terms of the rankings, in terms of the accreditations, and that's one of the figures I like to mention is the selectivity you have in terms of the of rankings and accreditation. So as I mentioned, you have on a global scale some 15,000 MBA programs offered from various business schools. So you really have to funnel it down a little bit. So you start with the accreditations. One of the accreditation bodies, namely AMBA, they accredit only less than 200 MBAs on a global scale. So again, this brings it down to 200 MBA programs. So I think that each MBA from various schools, they will have their, let's say, their selling points or their strength. Ours is really the outstanding quality of WU as an institution. We are one of the largest business universities in Europe. So there's a lot of research coming into the MBA program. The university is widely connected worldwide with other business schools. So there is a very international faculty coming in from different business schools and different continents. It's a highly international peer group you will join. So not only the program itself in terms of the curriculum and the faculty, but also the student body is highly international. And you will get a strong network, not only here in Europe, but that's something I didn't mention yet, through our partner university in the United States, the University of Minnesota. You, of course, have also access to their alumni network through the MBA program. So a couple of arguments
And you do get a double degree as well through the partner university.
So that's two MBA.
2 MBA degrees, exactly. And while we're on the topic, another question had came in about why the partner university was chosen. The partner university is one of the strongest business universities, or let's say largest humanities and business universities in the United States. And it's been also top ranked. Alex, would you be able to share a little bit more about the Carlson School of Management and the cooperation we have with them?
Yeah, that's actually I was just thinking, a long-lasting relationship. That's actually the program which really kicked off the WU Executive Academy. So that was the very beginning of this academy, initiated by our founding dean, Bodo Schlegelmilch, back then. So he wanted to create an executive MBA, but he didn't want to just create an executive MBA, but he wanted to create a global executive MBA. He partnered up with Mike Houston from the Carlson School of Management, the dean back then, and they created this international program.
That was about 20 years ago, actually, over.
That's more than 20 years ago, right? And a couple of words regarding about the Carlson School or the University of Minnesota. You mentioned it's top ranked. It's highly recognized in the United States. It's top 15 United States universities from the Financial Times ranking this year. So strong ranking, and they are very strong in terms of research, namely marketing research. So this is where they're really strong in, and of course that comes into the program as well.
Okay, well, we have a lot of questions, so I'm going to be moving us along. We noticed that the pandemic has also seen a trend towards digitizing processes, a lot of business processes. So the question came up is, will the program be adapted to this trend? Or
of
how?
Course. Yeah,
Yes.
I see the question here on the screen. Good question, actually. That's really a major topic. Not only for us as an institution regarding the whole experience or the way we offer that program. I showed you the pictures and what we have changed in terms of how we provide the program or we run the program, but also in terms of the topics which you will go through. So the digitalization or the transformation every business actually find themselves in right now, that's a topic which will be part of each and every module. So when you talk about leadership, you will talk about how you lead digital teams, for instance, how you lead detached offshore teams. When you talk about, I don't know, financial topics, there's a lot going on in terms of digitalization for everything which is related to the financials. So that's the digital transformation. That's something you will find in each and every module throughout the MBA program. So a very important topic.
Great. Okay. So moving on in our list, of course, if you have any further questions or follow-up questions, please send them in. We had a question that came in regarding basically the application requirement for the program. So there's a requirement of leadership experience. And how exactly is that going to be measured for the application? What does that look like?
But that's something we ask the candidates through during the application. So that's something we will ask you when you complete the online application form. That's something we will discuss during the admission interview. So leadership is definitely an important topic and one of the main topics of this MBA program. So there's a strong emphasis not only during the written application, your motivation letter. We ask you some questions about that during the application interview. This is also something we discuss during the admission interview. So there is an emphasis on that.
Okay, and it's basically seen on a case-by-case basis for each person, depending on if it's a team or a budget or type of responsibility.
Yeah, it really depends on the situation you're in, and we like to assess each and every candidate individually. So we interview each candidate. We have a thorough discussion with each candidate, and this is where we wanna find out those things. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that wraps it up for that question. And we also had a question coming in regarding the visa support for students outside of the EU. How does that work once they're once they're accepted in the program and they would be traveling to Vienna for classes? How can they get a visa, and what does the support look like from our end?
Yeah, what we do is once you're admitted to the program, we provide you with all the relevant documentation you need in order to apply for a visa. So that's your admission letter, obviously, that's a confirmation letter. These can be invitation letters for the modules if they're required for your visa. So you will have a set of documents, official documents from the university stating that you're an admitted student of the Executive MBA, and these are the dates we need you to be either here in Vienna.
Okay.
Of course, the application for applying for a visa, that's something each and every candidate has to do individually. But we provide all the documents, the supporting documents, which the students will need for the visa.
Yes, and if I recall correctly, I mean, we have, of course, in the student profile, 30% roughly of Austrians, but 70% of international students. And one of the largest nationality groups in this body is from Russia. They've always been a strong participant group in the program. And yeah, they're one example of students from outside the EU that have no trouble getting into our classrooms at all with visa issues.
No,
so,
usually we don't hear about major issues with visa, and since WU is a well-known university
exactly,
in Austria, the authorities really, they know us. So when you walk into the embassy in Moscow, the Austrian embassy, and you present the admission letter from WU, they will know the university, and they know that they can trust that that's a genuine document they have in their hands.
Okay, great. So we're moving on now, and I wanted to just address the topic now that came up about project management. This is a specialization from the professional MBA, and we'd be happy to share details with you on that program. To answer this question shortly, no, it's not a partnership with the PMA or PMI, but it is run by our institution and Professor Martina Hueyman, who integrates different aspects of these certifications in the professional MBA. So that's a short answer to that one.
Yeah, and maybe add that there will be a webinar 1st of December. Anna, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 1st of December?
1st of December, exactly.
1st of December, there will be a webinar about, or let's say a more general webinar about the MBA programs, and among others, the MBA in project management will be presented and described during that webinar. So make sure to register for that one.
Exactly. Okay, but we also had questions coming up around, let's say, operations, so to say. So real quickly, with the tuition costs, could you tell us a little bit more, firstly, if the tuition covers travel for international students?
So tuition covers everything you need for the program in terms of your material, so books, case studies, all the access to all the platforms you need during the program. So there's nothing you need to really buy for doing the MBA program. What you need to invest in additionally to the tuition fee is travel and accommodation. So no, it's not covered. So if you have to travel to Austria, so that's something you should budget in addition to the
And
tuition.
what about when you have to travel to South America for the residencies?
Yeah, so that's so we don't mess around with the flights. So everyone has usually their own bonus programs and whatever. So We learned that we'd rather not mess around with the flights. In terms of the accommodation, of course, we've been going to these locations, to these destinations for quite some time already, and we have some existing partnerships with hotels on site, and we usually book a set of rooms for the class, and that's something which is usually really, let's say, nicely accepted. We always, as I can think of, we usually always have all the students in one hotel room. We get better rates for those, of course. So that's something we offer our students for the international residencies. Just a side note for on-campus living here in Vienna at our campus. So there is no on-campus accommodation like you would expect in the USA, for instance. But we have a range of hotels around the campus and not far away, and with those we have relationships and partnerships, and so the students really get better rates when booking their rooms there during the modules.
Exactly.
But we've also had students teaming up and renting Airbnb apartments.
Yes, of course, adapting as well. Yeah.
And I saw one more question regarding the installments. So just let me say a couple of words about that. So the tuition fee, you don't need to pay it on the very first day. You can do that if you wish so, but you don't have to. So what happens is that once you are admitted to the program, there is a payment of 10% which falls due, 10% of the tuition fee. If you receive a scholarship and your fee is reduced, then it's 10% of this reduced fee. That's the confirmation or down payment, and that's how you reserve your seat in the MBA program. And then we can split the payments in 3 more installments, so you can really, let's say, spread the financial burden, if you wish.
Exactly, and the excuse me, the final payment has to be in by graduation. So that's also a question that comes up, but that would be just the final deadline, of course.
It's before the final trip to the United States. So
that's where the first graduation takes place, exactly.
Oh, so we can allow a certain flexibility here. So let's say you expect a bonus coming in on December XYZ. So we can really accommodate that with the invoice, so we can send it a couple of days later. So that's something we can be flexible in a certain way. The payment agreement is something you agree on with the program management during the application process.
Yes, and another question has also reached me. What happens, for instance, when one of the students might have something unexpected come up and they might have to miss a class? Maybe there was an illness or some emergency situation. How does the institution react to such cases?
Well, the program takes place each year. So the worst case scenario is that you will have to retake the module in the next, together with the next class. So that's one of the scenarios we work with. Or since we have a couple of MBA programs running simultaneously, there might be the possibility to join this particular module with another MBA program. But this is something we look into on an individual basis, or case by case. We try to find a solution which is the, let's say, the most helpful for the student.
Exactly, because I mean, a class can be a little bit longer than just maybe perhaps the afternoon session you have to miss out on. So we try to see, okay, can you make it up with a little more extra workload assignments to make up for that?
Yeah, if you miss half a day, you might not have to retake the whole module, but that's something which we look into case by case, and that's obviously also at the responsibility of the professor. So there are some guidelines here we have to follow, of course, but we look into that case by case.
Exactly. And well, as we finalize our info session, I wanted to just remind everyone out there who has been so kind to join us today that you, dear participants who have been remaining with us throughout this entire webinar, will be receiving a guide, a free gift on how to create a business case for getting employer support for your MBA. And we also invite you, as you can see, Alex is inviting you to connect with him, perhaps for a private consultation, a one-on-one telephone or Zoom call. And we'd be happy to learn more about your career aspirations.
Yeah, it's not only me. So we have a team of program managers who are happy to support you. So just reach out to either myself or to my colleagues, and we'd be happy to advise you.
Thank you as well from my side and to our IT support for the smooth event. And dear participants, it was wonderful to get so many questions. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.